Hey everyone, welcome to Bit Systems. So in this tutorial, we will understand how can we calculate the sum of first and natural number using a Java program. So let's get started. The very first step is what we have to do. We will create a method of type static so that I don't have to create the object of this class to call this method. And I'll return int because the sum of all natural number will be an integer value, and let me keep some the name of this method. And what we are doing, we are calculating the sum of first and natural number. So how many numbers are we going to take? That will be n. So how these numbers are being calculated, how these all n numbers are being added, let's understand it step by step. So for example, n is 5, which means I have to calculate the sum of first 5 natural numbers. So what are our first 5 natural numbers? These are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So how are we calculating the sum of all these numbers? Firstly, 1 will be added with 2, 2 will be added with 3, so the result will be added into the 4, and next result will be added into 5. Here we are adding the first two number, let's say it's 1 and 2. We are adding these two numbers and storing the result. Means 1 and 2 will be calculated, so the result of this number will be used to calculate the sum of next number. So what we will do, let's say this is the result of first two numbers addition. We will use this 3 to calculate the sum of next number. So next number is 3, so our result will be 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. It will return us 6, so the result will be saved somewhere, and then we will use this result to calculate the sum of next value, which is 4 over here in our case, and this will give us 6, sorry, this will give us 10, and so this 10 will be used to calculate the sum of next value. So we will use the result of the previous calculation or the previous addition, which is 10, and we will add next value in it. Next value is 5, so it will give us 15. So finally we will return this addition. So 15 is the result of first 5 natural numbers. Firstly, we have to understand what we are going to do. We are adding two numbers, and then sum will be stored somewhere, and because the sum or the result will be used for our next iteration. So that means if we are storing a value, what type of value are we storing? This is an integer type of value. So this integer value will be stored somewhere. Let's say I'll take an integer type variable sum and will initialize it with 0. So in the next step, what I am going to do, I am using the same approach. I'll be repeating the same approach. So in the next step, I'm repeating the same approach. The result of previous calculation will be used to add the next number. So that means I'll use sum, and then whatever sum I'll get, let's say we got 6, so again I'll use this 6 to add the next number into it, plus next number, and finally I'll return this sum. So now what is this next number? How will we get to know the next numbers? Since we are going to repeat the same process again and again, so to do a repetitive task, what we can do, we can take a loop, and this loop will be started with 1, and we will go till where I should be less than and equal to where? Less than and equal to 5. Less than and equal to 5. So what is our 5? This is our n. So less than and equal to n and I plus plus. So now over here, this next is what? Next is our I. So let's replace this next with I here. because we are increasing the number one by one, and finally we are keeping adding those numbers. So let's do a quick dry run how this will work behind the scene. So let's take the original step first. The value of I is 1 and I is less than equal to 5. This is true because 1 is less than equal to 5. Sum is 0 because we are initializing sum by 0, and then I plus plus we have not yet started. So in the very first step, when we start this iteration, the value of I will be equal to 1, and then what we are checking? We are checking if 1 is less than or equal to n means 5. 1 is less than or equal to 5. Yes, it is. So it will return true, and we will move on to our business logic. So what's our business logic? Firstly, the sum is 0. Sum plus next number. What is our next number? Since we are starting with I, so next number is I. Sum plus I is 1. It will give us 1. And the iteration will go to 2, and this loop will keep incrementing up to 2. And in the next iteration, the value of I will be 2 because iteration has been incremented, and then we will again check if 2 is less than equal to 5. Yes, it is. It will return true. And what will be the value of sum? In the previous calculation, the sum is 1. So now what we are doing? 1 plus the next iteration. Next iteration is 2, so it will give us 3. So we will get 3 over here, and iteration will be moved to 3. So next iteration will be the third iteration. Third iteration will give us 3 is less than equal to 5. Yes, it will return true, and the what will be the result? Result will be 3 plus the next number, which is I is 3, and the result of previous number is 3. So 3 plus 3 will be equal to 6 because it will be 3 plus I, which is 3, and iteration will move to 4. So in the next iteration, what will happen? The value of I will be 4. So 4 is less than equal to 5. This will return true. And what will be the sum? Sum will be the result of the previous number. The result of previous addition is 6, plus we are adding I. What is I over here? It is 4. So 4 plus 6 is equal to 10, and now iteration will be increased to 5 because we are doing I plus plus over here. And in the next iteration, value of I will be 5. 5 is less than or equal to 5. 5 is exactly equal to 5, so it will return true. And what will be the sum? Sum will be the result of previous value, which was 10 plus I, and I is 5 over here. So it will be 15, and iteration will be 6. So in the next step, iteration will be 6, and 6 is less than or equal to 5. No, it is not. So we will return from here. So finally, what we have to return? We have to return 15, which is our sum, and that's what we are doing over here. And this is how we will get the sum of first n natural number. N can be anything. N can be 5, n can be 10, n can be 15. So before moving into the VS Code, let's calculate the time and space complexity of this problem. So since we are iterating n times, that means we are calculating the sum of n natural number. So what will be the time complexity? It will be order of n. And what will be the space complexity? We are just using a variable. We are not using any additional space. We are not using stack. We are not using array. We are not using maps. So the space complexity will be order of 1. Now let's switch over to the VS Code. The very first step was take a variable sum and initialize it with 0. And then start the loop, keep calculating the sum and return the sum. So will be exactly equal to n and I plus plus. So this sum will be overridden at every step. So sum will be sum plus the step we are increasing up to 5, and finally we are returning sum. So let's see. Let's execute this program to see the result. So now what I'll do, I'll call this sum method and we'll pass the value into it. Sum of first 5 numbers. So as you can clearly see over here, the sum of 5 number is 15. So let me take 6. What should be the sum of first 6 natural number? It should be 21. So 21 is the result of first 6 natural number. Let's give it one more try. 7 should be 28. So this is 28. So this is how we can calculate the sum of first n natural number using iterative approach and with time complexity as order of 1 and space complexity will be constant. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. See you in the next video. Thank you.